Welcome to Southern Norway. Timothy Owen here, founder of Online Entrepreneur Academy. Welcome. I want to share with you what I just did. I did a technique that I learned of recently, and I will post a link to the video I listened to where I learned this technique. You may have heard of it before. I'd love to know if you're implementing it. When you tend to think a lot like I do, and you'll tend to be in your head to the point where you disempower yourself, right? You go past that moment when you can take action, when you can step into an activity, when you can put those thoughts into motion. And then it seems to circle, right? And then you're thinking about it some more and you're pondering it a little longer and you're wondering like, well, maybe not that, but this, maybe I can improve this. Maybe I should talk to so-and-so. Maybe I should read that one more time. Maybe I should set myself up to succeed a little bit differently than. If you simply count down like NASA does when launching a rocket, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I encourage you to try that like right now. Do it out loud, do it silently. Feel in your physiology, literally feel in your body the shift that occurs. And the research has proven this to be true. We will tend to get into our, I don't know all these parts of the brain, but the back part of the brain, right? The more primitive survival mode thinking. And our brain is really hardwired to avoid pain, to avoid struggle, to survive, essentially, right? It's wired into our ancestral DNA in terms of how our brain will function that way. Yet when we put ourselves into a launch mode, when we put ourselves into a countdown, and at the end of that countdown, we simply act, whether we're ready or not, whether we even know exactly what we're going to do or not, we just act. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test that out for yourself and share in a comment your experience of it. I feel a shift from the back of my brain to the frontal cortex. I feel like all that thinking and processing that was going on before starts to get quiet. There are moments in time that you can create by a simple technique like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, counting yourself down to a moment of action like nothing else can affect. So I'm going to give you that as a first tip of the day in terms of what strategy are you using to connect with people. Because if you're like me, very often there's a hesitancy. There's an over-preparing. There's a over-contemplating, thinking too long, thinking too hard, thinking too much, basically, that often gets in my way of reaching out and connecting with people. And then the other thing that I struggle with, and I think many of us do, especially in business, is we're so caught up in our business mindset, aren't we? We're so caught up in what's got to get done. Often make a sale is the beating heart of any business, right? We're so caught up in that when we go to the store, I was just at the mall here earlier today, these salespeople come up and say, "Can I help you?" Now, this happens to all of us. What do you say to that? I'd be curious to know. What is your response when that salesperson comes up in the health food store, in the grocery store, in the clothing store, in the shoe store, in the toy store? It really doesn't matter, does it? It happens in all of those environments that you have someone come up to you. There's an opportunity to connect as human beings, right? As real people. There's an opportunity to ask a question, any question. It doesn't matter what it is. Any question will provide an opportunity to connect. And yet often the one that a typical, probably well-trained and educated salesperson will do is, what can I do to help you? Or how can I help you? And we all know our response, don't we? If you're like me, it's like, push back. I am just looking, thank you. Like, in other words, leave me the F alone. I will let you know when I want you, when I need you. I mean, it happened today when I'm looking at toothpaste. You know what I mean? Like, leave me alone. Leave me alone, right? Which is a sad, sad, sad testimony for myself, to me, to respond that way, number one. And number two, I think it's where I need to start in sharing with you my experience and my breakthroughs that apply to working online. Because online truly is no different than in person. Business is business. Business is about making money, right? The only way a business can stay in business is if it's profitable, period. There's no other way. If you're not producing and generating more inflow than outflow, then you're on the way to bankruptcy. Okay? It's that simple. There's no complication about that. This must be self-sustaining, which means it needs new customers, which means you must connect with people. It's the only way any business is going to survive, is the connection that it has with its customers, its clients, and those that it provides a service to. And yet I'm certain for myself and those I observe, we are ahead of ourselves. We are in business mode. And we've stepped out somewhere in that process. We've stepped out of being a human being with another human being. We've stepped out of listening, like really listening, not just asking the question because that's what we're pre-programmed to do. And then we basically know what they're going to say, right? Like, no, thanks. I'm just looking for right now. Thank you. And we're in habits and patterns that are not producing the results that we're looking for. So that's where I want to start. Now, there are so many amazing tools and techniques and tips. I'm going to be sharing more and more of those with you because I've got a millionaire mentor who's been educating me on these things in a way that is profoundly simplifying the process. I mean, like to the point of generating money that I get paid today rather than having to wait and get paid once a month, right? Like most jobs will do, or every couple of weeks. Or if you're in affiliate sales, right, you're going to have a certain percentage taken out and held for returns and chargebacks. And, you know, maybe you'll get paid out once a month or again, maybe every couple of weeks, but you'll have to wait for your money. How about if I could simplify for you that process? How about if you got paid immediately today? How about when you made a sale, that sale was $1,000 in your PayPal account directly into your wallet? How about if it was in Bitcoin and you got paid directly in Bitcoin to your Bitcoin wallet? And we'll leave the banks out of the whole process. These are the things that I'm beginning to learn, and yet the foundation of them is a connection with another human being. Okay? I'll share with you another tip right now. Like, who am I speaking to, right? The opportunity to speak like this could be to an audience, right? I could imagine myself on stage speaking to many people. And yet what I've learned in this process is that the most profound way to deliver a message is to engage with one person, one single person. So I know who that person is. I don't think I'll get into sharing that with you today, but I want you to consider when you are in your mode of your business operation, when you are in your mode of delivering your message, do you know who you're speaking to? Because that seems to be, again, foundational to the connection that we're looking to make. How is someone that you're speaking to going to know you're speaking to them if you don't know you're speaking to them? Okay? Again, this didn't come easily for me. These things I'm sharing with you have taken many years and a lot of pain and struggle and difficulty. And my hope is that by sharing with you my experience, my insights, my awarenesses, I can shorten this learning curve for you significantly, like to the point of getting you paid today in 4 figures, and having that cash or Bitcoin come directly to your wallet, not a percentage, not, you get half and I get half. How about you get paid today, a week's worth of pay in one day? Scale it up to that. And if that interests you, then stay tuned. And again, I probably will include 1 or 2 links for you to learn more about that and to plug into this way of doing business that is foundational. It's historical. It's like never left business. And yet somehow in this modern era of network marketing and online marketing and affiliate sales, we seem to have complicated something that in its beating heart essence has always been and will always be the opportunity of exchange. And that exchange doesn't begin with money. It begins with a human being, a person, identifying and connecting with another human being, another person, single person, not a group of people, and in some way making a connection. So I think for now, for today, I'll leave it that short, sweet, and simple, and then we'll get into more of the nuts and bolts of this over the next few days, because this will be an ongoing progression of sharing with you my process of these $1,000 days and getting paid today. No longer waiting. I mean, my God, my last company, I have money that I earned. I never got paid because they went out of business. You know? So I'm sure some of you listening to this have had a similar experience where you've allowed yourself to be in a situation that has you basically being told how it's going to be. And isn't, the desire to have your own business, the freedom, the empowerment for you to decide how it's going to be, for you to decide how much you are worth rather than someone else telling you how much you are worth, for you to get paid today. I mean, honestly, that one thing alone has been breakthrough for me, to realize that it's not like a job. It does not have to be like a job where you wait for payroll to finally pay you at the same time they're going to pay your taxes and take out deductions and so on and so on and so on. Wouldn't it be nice to get paid today? I used to have to wait years ago as a general contractor. I used to have to wait till the end of the job to get paid. And if I didn't calculate all the numbers right, I often paid to do the job because the expenses I had maybe were greater, or the time it took for me to accomplish the work was longer than initially projected. And if I was in a competitive bidding process, then very often, right, I lowballed it to get the job, and eventually ended up paying to do the job rather than actually making any money. Maybe some of you have had that humbling experience to realize that this delay in getting paid is rather problematic in a number of ways, okay? I want to shorten that, sweeten that, and simplify that for you to realize that you can get paid today, literally today, in your PayPal account or by Bitcoin direct into your Bitcoin wallet. There are mechanisms now for you to do business that will allow that simplicity to not only be what you can experience, but what you can offer and inspire others with. So I think that's enough of a teaser on that, because the bottom line is the connection. And I see one person's picking up on this right now. Please drop me a message if you would, and let me know that you're getting the audio, because we're testing out some new ways of doing live stream here. And let me know where you are in the world as well. And the third question would be, like, what do you do to connect with people? And it doesn't have to be business. It could be social. It could be friends and family. What do you do on a regular, ongoing basis to maintain your network, your connections with friends, with family? Because I'm learning it's no different in business, especially today in 2017, with the net of internet and the net of networking and the old models of MLM and all these things that have been based upon the relationship, and yet they've missed it. They've totally missed this essence of a human being connecting with another human being. I know who I'm speaking to right now. In your marketing message, in your reaching out, in your connecting, do you know who you're speaking to? Or are you trying to more so broadcast it and hit a bunch of people like shotgun? That is where I'll leave it for now, because the specifics will come out of this foundation that we're laying, the foundational awareness that all business is about connecting with people. I'll wrap it up going back to some just brilliant stuff from years ago. I'm sure some of you have read this. Michael Masterson, alias Mark Ford, and his book, Ready, Fire, Aim. Ready, fire. Now aim it. Brilliant, brilliant perspective on business, and has had a profound impact on me years ago, which still applies today with the countdown of taking action with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to weave together with you how Michael Masterson has shared this years ago in his book, Ready, Fire, Aim, with this other technique of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 that is proving itself profound for numerous people in numerous applications for getting unstuck where they might find themselves stuck. And Michael Masterson, in that context, offers, in simple terms, he calls it your OSS, your optimum selling strategy. He says it is the best way your startup business can acquire new customers. Okay, the optimum selling strategy is what you need to figure out at the early stages of your business, and it is the best way your startup business can acquire new customers. And yet today, with the Millionaire Mentorship that I'm adding to all these years of experience, I want to share with you, there's one step back to consider before racing after your OSS, your optimum selling strategy, and that is your optimum connecting strategy. So again, share with me in your comments, what do you do? What tips, what techniques, what suggestions, what ways do you have a strategy for yourself of connecting with people? And are you able to do it short of and free of the sale and trying to close the sale and make the sale and talking about your business, talking about your products, talking about who you are, rather than listening and flipping this so that the individual like me out in your store at the mall today, you'd come up and connect with me in a way that didn't get me to say, no thanks, I'm doing just fine. I'll let you know when I need you, or I'm just looking for right now, and pushing back. What are you doing that has someone say, yeah, yes, and engage with you in a way that makes a connection that happens before, during, and after the business process of a sale? So let's start with that as a baby step, the making of a connection with people. And here I am doing it with you through a live stream. So let me know if I was successful. Let me know what you do to make connections with people and how that plays out in your business. And if you, like me, have struggled with this, I would also like to know if this has been a hurdle and a challenge to get over, where you'll fall into old habits and old patterns of training from sales and marketing years ago that have us trying to hit the goal, hit the target, get the job done, finish what we started, make money, pay the bills, right? Provide for your family as a higher priority than simply making a connection with another human being. And we'll help each other to no longer fall in that trap. And it takes some time. So I don't want to make it sound like this is just a boom thing. But the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and taking action is key. Because if that doesn't happen, there's no opportunity for you to connect. And I've certainly realized that for myself, which is partly why you're going to continue to see these live streams. And I hope it inspires you likewise to consider what you can do to connect, whether it's with me or with your customers or even simply friends and family, in a way that runs less of an agenda, that lets them know you really do care and you really are listening to whatever their answer is, to whatever you've asked or shared, that is that initial connection point. Thank you. And for now, like that weather behind me in transition, I wish you the best in whatever state you're in now and to wherever it is you're going next. Because together we truly overcome.